Monaco's billionaire parties mean secret villas turned into fantasy worlds, yachts bigger than city blocks, and guest lists guarded tighter than nuclear launch codes. The price of entry here isn't really money but power, status, and above all, silence. Let's take an inside look at the secret billionaire parties of Monaco's elite, the playground of the ultra-rich. Monaco is only 2 square kilometers, but it feels like the entire planet's wealth condensed into one glittering fortress. Ferraris hum down the waterfront like taxis. Yachts stacked side by side look more like floating skyscrapers than boats. And the apartments perched above the harbor carry price tags that would make a Manhattan penthouse blush. But it wasn't always like this. In the mid-1800s, Monaco was broke, with its royal family barely holding on. The gamble that ultimately paid off was the Monte Carlo casino. Its marble halls and gilded ceilings lured European aristocrats with the promise of glamour and no income tax. Over time, that no-tax clause did more than just attract nobles. It built an economy where wealth itself became the country's greatest export. Then, Hollywood sealed the myth. Grace Kelly marrying Prince Rainier turned Monaco into the world's most glamorous address. From there, it snowballed. Billionaires traded boardrooms for terraces with Mediterranean sunsets, finding in Monaco a safe haven where money wasn't just welcomed, it was celebrated, protected, and discreetly multiplied. That's the secret sauce. In most places, flaunting wealth comes with scrutiny. In Monaco, it comes with applause. Privacy is guaranteed, reputations are preserved, and security is woven into daily life. You can throw a $30 million soiree, and the only people who'll ever know about it are standing in the room with you. In this 2 square kilometer playground, the laws of the outside world don't apply. And the parties? They're not just entertainment. They're rituals of belonging ceremonies that remind the ultra-rich they're in the one place where excess is expected, not judged. Parties that rewrite reality. What makes a billionaire's party in Monaco different is how reality itself gets rearranged for the night. We're not talking balloons and a DJ. We're talking full-scale stagecraft that makes Broadway productions look like backyard barbecues. For instance, take the infamous villa transformations. For one weekend, a billionaire might decide their cliffside mansion should become an Arabian bazaar. Trucks roll in with imported sand, palm trees craned over marble balustrades, and real camels wandering manicured garden. Guests arrive by tender from private yachts, stepping into a world that exists for maybe 12 hours before it all disappears like a mirage. On the water, the scale gets even more absurd. During the Grand Prix, Monaco's harbor turns into a floating festival of excess. Yachts worth hundreds of millions are lined side by side, each staging its own spectacle. One deck might have a Grammy winner playing to an audience of 50, while another hosts a private auction where $20 million artworks change hands as casually as poker chips. Chefs flown in from Paris plate truffle-laden dishes, while drones scan the perimeter to keep out cameras and uninvited guests. The irony is, none of it is for public consumption. These aren't parties designed for Instagram or TikTok. They're closed-circuit fantasies, curated for people who've already seen everything money can buy, except this. Each event is part theater, part social contract, reminding attendees that they're not just wealthy, they're insiders to a world the rest of us will never even glimpse. In Monaco, entertainment isn't about escape. It's about bending reality until it feels like you're living inside a dream no one else even knows exists. Where champagne meets power plays. Beneath the music, the fireworks, and the caviar dusted with gold leaf, Monaco's parties hum with a second purpose: power. To the untrained eye, it's just another toast. But what looks like casual chatter is often the start of deals worth hundreds of millions. This is where hedge fund managers find themselves seated next to shipping tycoons, where sovereign wealth fund directors laugh over champagne flutes with tech entrepreneurs, and where a quiet conversation on a yacht deck can ripple across industries. Deals don't need contracts here, not at first. They start with trust, eye contact, and the shared understanding that everyone in the room already belongs. That's why the environment is so carefully curated. A Picasso hanging above the bar isn't just aesthetic, it's context. It signals scale, seriousness, shared values. A $200 million yacht isn't just a party venue, it's neutral ground. A floating fortress where conversations flow without press leaks or regulators listening in. Privacy is the true currency, and every detail of these gatherings reinforces it. And while the champagne never stops flowing, no one forgets what's really at stake. A whispered agreement can lead to a new shipping alliance, a biotech acquisition, or the quiet restructuring of an entire company. It's the world's most exclusive marketplace. But the market isn't stocks or bonds, it's relationships. For outsiders, the parties might look like frivolous excess. For those inside, they're infrastructure, a parallel system where the music is just background noise to the deals shaping tomorrow's headlines. The icons, who define the scene. In Monaco, there's a big difference between people who attend the parties and the ones who are the party. The real inner circle isn't scrambling for attention, they already have it, by default. Take Tatiana Casiraghi, brewing heiress, married into the royal house of Grimaldi, and the kind of presence that can shift the entire tone of a room simply by arriving. Her style? Effortless but calculated, a blend of discreet elegance and old-world money that's subtle enough to whisper power, but strong enough to silence everyone else. Her soirees don't just dazzle, they set the cultural meter for what's in among Europe's elite. And then there's David Nahmad. While most billionaires collect cars or watches, Nahmad collects Picassos like casual souvenirs. His private art holdings are so extensive that some museums borrow from him. At auctions, his name carries the weight of a dynasty. He can outbid entire institutions and then casually ship a canvas back to his fortress-like storage facility in Monaco. What sets people like Tatiana and Nahmad apart is that they don't chase relevance, they embody it. Their presence signals legitimacy. If Tatiana is hosting, you want to be on that list. If Nahmad shows up, you know serious capital is circling the room. In a place overflowing with wealth, these figures remind everyone that money isn't enough. It's about aura, it's about narrative. And the way Monaco works, presence is a currency all its own. Indulgence beyond reason. Step inside one of these parties, and your senses are immediately overwhelmed. Tables aren't just set, they're staged, dripping with floral arrangements so intricate they look like living sculptures. The servers? Polished, trained, and dressed like they're attending the gala themselves. Even the silverware sometimes carries its own story, borrowed from heritage collections worth millions. The food is a performance. Lobster doesn't come out of the kitchen. It's flown in overnight from the Atlantic, presented on ice carved into art. Wagyu beef arrives with certification, so guests can literally trace its pedigree back to a single farm in Japan. Caviar isn't a garnish here, it's practically its own food group. It appears on toast, inside oysters, even sprinkled over desserts, as if the entire menu has been rewritten to prove luxury has no limits. Entertainment works the same way. Forget local DJs, these crowds book global icons. Grammy winners flown in for one-night-only sets. Acrobats twist from ceilings dripping in Swarovski crystals. Light shows splash across the Riviera, and in one case, an actual private jet was auctioned off mid-party. Another host famously converted his estate into a full forest, soil, trees, the works, only to dismantle it the next morning. It sounds excessive because it's island, but here's the thing, nothing ever tips into tacky. Somehow Monaco maintains a polish that elevates even the most outrageous displays into works of art. The trick? Precision. Every detail is calculated to keep Indulgence glamorous, never gaudy. And as the night fades, the spectacle doesn't stop. Behind the curtains and in hushed corners, the conversations turn sharper. Because for all the theatrics, the real value of these nights is measured in deals, not decibels. The global game beneath the glitter. For outsiders, it looks like fantasy. But for insiders, every one of these nights doubles as a battlefield, the quiet, velvet kind. Deals don't wait for boardrooms here. They're drafted over champagne, whispered between violin solos, and scribbled on napkins next to $1,000 hors d'oeuvres. Sovereign fund executives bump into biotech founders on deck. An art trade worth millions gets finalized in a hallway while the party swells outside. Even telecom mergers, the type that would normally take months of negotiation, begin life here, disguised as friendly chatter over foie gras. Monaco's secret is neutrality. It's Europe's playground, but also it's Switzerland. Old money, new money, east and west, everyone mingles on equal footing. That balance keeps the atmosphere cordial, even when the stakes are enormous. A missed introduction might cost someone a billion-dollar partnership. An overheard conversation could rewrite an entire market. And yet, it never feels like work. That's the genius of it. The parties disarm you. They blur the line between play and business so smoothly that deals emerge almost as if by accident. That's why billionaires keep coming back, not just for the spectacle, but for the opportunity disguised as leisure. Under the glitter, these nights are mechanisms. They don't just celebrate wealth, they consolidate it, redistribute it, and shape the chessboard for the next quarter. Monaco's golden rule of keeping silence. Monaco has one rule that everyone understands: secrecy is sacred. It's not about being photographed stepping off a yacht or making a splashy headline. In fact, that's exactly what you don't do here. Unlike LA or Dubai, Monaco doesn't reward flaunting. It rewards disappearing. Guests glide in, phones sealed away, entourages stripped at the door. Staff are vetted, briefed, and bound by contracts so ironclad that a loose word could end a career. Privacy isn't a courtesy here. It's a condition of entry. The technology backs it up. Signal jammers cloak entire villas, turning smartphones into paperweights. Facial recognition tracks who belongs and who doesn't. Security isn't just tight, it's invisible, woven into the fabric of the evening so smoothly that you forget it's there until you notice how calm everything feels. Every once in a while, a crack slips through. A leaked guest list in 2023 spiraled into lawsuits across multiple countries, costing reputations and millions in settlements. But that rarity is what makes the system so strong. Everyone knows the cost of a breach, and no one wants to pay it. Because here's the truth: wealth can buy you access, but only silence buys you permanence. These gatherings don't thrive on hype, they thrive on trust. That's why they endure. In Monaco, the real show isn't the fireworks, the art, or even the billion-dollar yachts. It's the fact that the world's most powerful people can breathe in total privacy, untouchable, unrecorded, and completely in control.